Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video. It's going to be again another sweet and short and sweet rather, should I say, intro, because ultimately a lot of you guys will know the amount of these little intros I do and then scrap that I have because we don't end up buying the vehicle. But somebody's inboxed us, Instagram, offered us a Ford Ranger. Luckily for us, it is nice and close, it's on the doorstep. So I texted Chris about it last night and he said just come and get me and we're going to have a look first thing if you can get it arranged. So I've just arrived at the yard, just waiting for Chris to jump in the van, and we're going to head straight up there, have a look at it guys, and fingers crossed, if it's a good one, it's going to be another one that we buy. So like I say, nice short and sweet intro. Let's get up there and have a look. What we're actually going to do with this one, guys, save doing any checks or anything like that, Chris said, Rob, because it's so local, let's just go down there, have a look round it, make sure it is what he says it is, and make sure that we can put a deal together, and then we'll run all of our checks on it. So I'm going to leave Chris out there, he's chatting to the owner, and we'll see how we get on. But from here it looks all right, fair bit of damage there on the front, but let's see how we get on. So guys, Chris just jumped back in the van. I am going to get out in a minute and have a good look round it and try and negotiate a price. But Chris said it does all seem to look okay. There's that bit of damage on the front, and obviously this one has actually got a mechanical issue. We will elaborate on that a little bit later on in the video. But if this all checks out, guys, we are going to buy it. So I've punched the chassis number into car vertical and it's come up there, Ford Ranger, mileage okay, theft okay, accidents okay, spotted activity, all of the usual stuff that you get on these car vertical checks. An MOT, some advisories there, another one there, a previous MOT, some services there. So was it inspected in the United Kingdom? Always handy to see. I'm sure it's got a service book with it, but always handy if it hasn't, that it does all come up on this check. This check was performed in all of these countries, so United Kingdom, Romania, Lithuania, Ukraine, Slovenia, just to name a few. Mileage is actually just over 102,000 on the MOT there, and Chris said it's currently showing about 105, I think he said, or 106. So not bad mileage for a vehicle of that age. It does say there, as of today, the average mileage of this vehicle should be around 111,000. So that does all seem to check out okay there. Scrolling a little bit further down the check, and you've got all of the, of course, all of the specs and equipment that come with this vehicle from new. So that does all seem to check out, guys, and I think that we'll probably try and have a deal on this one. But just before we do go, I want to show you a quick example of what one of these checks would look like if there was an issue with it. So just at the top here on this check, everything's green. Let's go to one that's got an issue. So just for peace of mind, guys, you can see one there that we've done it on a previous date, which was actually last year. And you can see it's the Audi A1 that we purchased, and it does come up on the check in amber, clear as day, that there is accidents. When you do scroll into the check, it does actually give you the dates that the vehicle was written off, etc. And it does say there it was damaged in the United Kingdom. Let's get that date up just for peace of mind. So written off date, 10th of the 5th, 2021. Guys, I want to thank Car Vertical once again for the continued support on the channel. Use the link in the description or the discount code SR10 to get 10% off of your check. Right, let's try and buy this vehicle. So guys, you would have seen there, I actually rung Mark and Kent Autos and said, Mark, we bought a Ford Ranger, I can't put it on the back of my truck, be way overweight and it'll probably snap it in half. So it was really lucky. He don't do recovery, but he said, I'm running some cars up to Medway to scrap them. So I think they pay the best price up there. he can get his guy Andy to pick it up on the way back, which was really nice, and it did help us out, and we've managed to get it here straight away. Otherwise we'd have had to source it out to somebody else local. I don't think it would have been expensive anyway, but hey, it's here now. So he can't help it, guys, honestly.
I've got more lunch, mate.
You can't help it, mate,
well,
can you?
Mate, look after the pennies.
And the pounds look after
you
themselves.
Got it, mate. Yeah, it's all bunts, isn't it?
Right, Chris, just before we get going, you obviously spoke to the guy about this truck.
Yeah.
What is the situation?
Well, they was on their way to Scotland.
Yeah.
Gang of them.
You might have to lean in a little bit.
Yeah, they was on their way to Scotland. Truck started getting a bit slower.
Yeah.
He said it was going uphill, so he thought, but it gradually got slower and slower to the point that he decided to pull over. Yeah. Pulled in the lay-by, turned it off, then it wouldn't start.
Okay.
So I called the AA. Initially they said, yeah, seems like a flat battery. Tried to jump it. No. Said, oh, it's probably alternator or starter motor problem, because it wouldn't crank over. Yeah. So they recovered it to a garage. He got a hire car from the AA, a courtesy car. They carried on their journey, and it got, the garage diagnosed it, said it's more severe than that. Right. Nothing wrong with the starter motor, nothing wrong with the alternator. So got it recovered back and decided to sell it.
And you didn't even try, you haven't tried to start it or anything when it was outside his house? You haven't? No. Just literally.
Just we've bought it on the basis that, you know, it's got
severe,
yeah.
But
you don't just slow down for a reason, do they?
No, I know you don't read all of the comments, but you do read some of them. Recently, quite a lot of people said, "Are you actually going to do a truck on the channel at some point?"
Well,
and
it's just,
we always say we only buy what's available.
What comes along, isn't it? Really?
Lately, yeah, we've had a few Fiestas, but they've just
that's right.
It's the order that they come up. So you will all be pleased to know we got a truck on the channel. This is not the highest spec truck in the world. It's got cloth trim, it's a manual,
it's a straight truck,
it is very straight. It's quite a nice colour as well. Yeah. I don't know if that's like a bluey, silvery, greeny sort of colour. A moon, yeah, it's a weird one. So it has got those all-terrain tyres all the way around it. And if you look, guys, it's actually really, really straight. Like the back of these trucks, normally the tailgate on them, or the bars are all normally bent up. Camera, I just noticed it's got one of them.
No tow bar, never had one, so it's not been worked hard.
That's nice, isn't it? And round this side, the only bit of damage I noticed was that little dent, but there's not actually a scrape through that. So on a 13 reg truck, would we even?
Nah, it's entitled to a few marks.
It is entitled to a few marks, so we'd just probably clean that up, won't we, and get rid of all the surface scratches. It has got a bit of damage on it there. And the guy said he never even actually did that. It was stationary in a car park and someone hit it over Christmas. Yeah. But the guy has...
Yeah, you got
the guy's paid for it. So
paid him for it, but he hadn't got round to getting it done. So
no, the guy has only had this truck for 5 or 6 months.
No, I think it's longer than that.
Oh, is it longer?
Yeah, I think it's longer than that. But
also, Chris noticed that when we went to look at it. We think that is actually the 2.2 Transit engine, don't we?
Yeah.
So, guys, if any of you know a little bit different, I'm sure you will let us know in the comment section down below. We have got a cover for that, haven't we, as well in there? Yeah. It does look quite nice under here. It looks like it's been looked after. He did say that when he had it MOT'd, he had it serviced, including cam belt. Yeah. So we're kind of hoping that there's no broken belt in there.
It doesn't look like it's ever been off though, does it?
It doesn't look like it's been off, but he did say he turned it off as opposed to it conking out, didn't he? So what we're going to do, pull it straight in the workshop and do a bit more investigation.
Well, it's either that, isn't it, or try and crank it, isn't it? I don't know.
I think we're going to have to pull it in regardless, isn't we? We've got the rope on there. Let's get it in. It's a bit nice and warm in there with a fire on. Let's do it. Got the old farmer pulling me in with a tractor. Got no power steering, obviously, no battery lights, and the brakes are rock hard, so hopefully I don't run into the back of him. No problem. So pulled it in, guys. Chris is just going to go and make us a coffee, and I've cracked off the bottom hose just to drain the water out of it, because ultimately Chris said we need to get all this out of the way and it'll give us plenty of room to get spanners on there, etc, etc. So we would have needed to remove the top hose. We didn't want to do that and get water all over the workshop, so we are just draining that down, and as soon as that's done we're going to crack straight on with it. Quite anxious to see what the problem is with this, and the more I look at it, I like this truck. It really is a nice tidy truck, so I think it's going to make great content. I also think it's going to make a great truck for somebody. Right, let's get on. I've been walking around with this tripod for the last couple of minutes trying to find the best place to put it. Ideally, guys, we want to be... Actually, let's try that. That's going to work, I think. We'll lean the tripod up against the vehicle. And the fan was a nightmare to get off. It actually undoes anti-clockwise, this one. On the Range Rover, it was clockwise, but it was still stuck on there pretty hard. So we managed to get that off. It's exposed the bottom pulley there, and what I've done is got the right size socket on a bar. That's the wrong way. That's going to undo the bolts if I do that. I've already checked this, guys. Look, that is that engine is locked up solid. So it's definitely seized up. Chris I just spoke to him and he had a couple of ideas. He said what he thinks could have happened, i.e. the wet belt could have snapped, oil pump stopped running, it's seized up, or what we see from before, the actual wet belt breaks up over a period of time and actually it all ultimately falls in the sump. It's then picked up by the oil pickup. The oil pickup blocks up, and of course then it starves the engine of oil and it seizes up. So I'm just going to wait for Chris to come back out. He's just popped in to eat his lunch, and then we'll make a bit of a plan going forward with it. But yeah, I mean, worst way, we did kind of discuss, you know, if it needs an engine, it's going to need an engine, but we was kind of hoping that it wasn't seized up. But hey ho, it is what it is, and I think we got it for a very, very reasonable price. Of course, at some point after the series, we'll do the numbers in the end of it anyway when we put it up for sale. But yeah, we'll see what he says when he comes back out. Chris is back now, guys. He actually went indoors today and had a bit of lunch with his girlfriend and done a bit of Googling while he was in there, mate. Yes. And I'm a little bit wrong on this one.
We both got it wrong on this one. Although it is a transit engine, yeah, it's not the transit engine we was familiar with. No, it's 2.2, not a 2 litre. Yeah. Although it's fitted to a transit, isn't it? Yeah. They have two chains, so similar setup to the 2 litre, where you have one driving the camshaft, fuel pump, etc. Yeah. And one just driving the oil pump. Okay. But this has got chains instead of belts. Okay. So our theory of where the belt starts disintegrating and blocks the oil pickup
is not the issue.
No. So it's seeming like it's possibly the timing, the oil pump chain has snapped, or the oil pump has failed.
You did see a couple of things on there about the oil chains snapping.
Yeah. But that kind of rings true that the engine would still run. Yeah. Not for long, but it would still run because the other chain is still driving everything else.
So it still run until ultimately it runs out of oil, gets hot and locks up.
Yeah, welds itself together.
So basically, guys,
probably what happened, he did keep driving it, and the inertia of it running kept it from seizing. But as soon as he pulled over, when he found someone, turned it off, that's it, and it's never gonna. It's welded it, and then when it's cooled down,
Yeah.
It's welded. Probably welded all the mains to the crank.
So all the mains, yeah, will be actually welded around that crank, yeah. And so what we're going to have to do is, it's not really worth rebuilding.
Trouble is everything's run short of oil. It's not, although it'll be the crankshaft seized, it doesn't just end there, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So the camshaft will have run short of oil. Everything will have run short of oil, won't it? So you could repair the bottom end and then put it all back together and then do a few miles in it.
Start
and you have
tapping.
Trouble from the top end. You don't know, do you? I mean, we could. There's quite a lot of access there, isn't there?
Yeah.
We could. I guess we could go down the route of stripping it to have a look. But what's the benefit of that if we've talked ourselves out of rebuilding it or having it?
I think we search for a used engine, possibly, or even a reman.
Yeah.
But if we buy a reman, you've got to take your engine without any holes in it. We know there's no holes in the block of this. It's C solid.
Well, so, I suppose there is 3 options in this scenario, like, and there is rebuild this engine, fit a second-hand engine, or purchase a reconditioned exchange engine. But either way, that engine's got to come out.
Yeah, it's got to come out,
hasn't
it? Yeah.
So that's where we're probably at. Isn't it? I mean, the more we strip off of that, the dirtier job it is to remove, isn't it? And the more bits we have out. So I'm kind of reluctant. If it was a 20,000 mile engine, you'd be like, oh, we'd like to try and save that engine, wouldn't we? But it's done 108,000, hasn't it? Yeah. So we can't.
So regardless of we've got to pull this out. Once we have pulled it out, it's not going to be loads and loads of work for us to whip that sump off and have a little look, is it? And put it back on.
Once it's hanging on the engine.
Yeah.
No, we could just just to for our own to see what.
Yeah.
I should think it'd be messy in there.
So what should we do, Chris? We strip the front end off, ready? We got to repair that bumper anyway.
Bumper's coming off anyway for repair, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess while the engine thing was being done, I could repair that bumper, prep it. It could go round to the paint shop when he gets time.
Yeah, do it so it's done for once the truck's done.
Yeah, and then we're going to have to do a bit of.
Trouble is, mate. This video's nearly 20 minutes. We ain't going to get time to strip all that off, and we are off out this afternoon to look at another car again. So,
well, maybe just call it there
for a minute, and I'll start ringing around having a look for an engine.
Yeah, see, maybe we'll speak to Silver Lake. Maybe we'll reach out to a few other companies and see what the situation is.
Yeah, definitely. I do think you're right though, and guys, please let us know in the comment section. That is ultimately could open up a can of worms and cost you 3 times what a reman engine could cost. And the second-hand one, you're asking for the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, the second-hand one, not so bad if you can hear it running, or if it was from someone like Silver Lake, who fully test everything before it, give you a warranty with it. There's no dramas, is there? We kind of would have confidence that we was fitting a good engine.
But even in a second-hand one, you'd want to put a chain set on it, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah.
So
it'd be silly
just
not to. Now you know that can fail.
It is a load of work.
If that's what has failed.
I'll tell you what.
Sounds likely.
Sorry to interrupt you there, buddy. Let's cut it there. Let's do a bit of research, see what's about, and then, guys, we'll let you know, I think, because it's tempting to get the spanners out and throw them at this. And
well, it is to see, isn't it?
It is to see, but
it's...
we don't want to create what we've got so much on again. We got rid of all that stuff in January, and we've built up a massive stock out there for you guys to see. So, right, back in a minute. So guys, time has run away with us a little bit again already, and believe it or not, we probably should have left by now, so I do need to leave this one there. If all goes to plan, we have already sorted out to go and look at a vehicle. If everything goes to plan, we'll be jumping straight back on this in the morning, Chris, won't we?
Well, as it's in here, yes.
And we're going to pull that engine out, aren't we? Because ultimately, whether it's a second-hand one, a reman one, or that one's getting fixed, it's got to come out of that truck. So that is going to be the end of the first video on the Ford Ranger truck. I know a lot of you was really looking forward to seeing a truck on the channel. And hopefully in the future, we can get some different ones. So if you did enjoy the video, guys, please do hit that thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. And of course, it really does help to share on all your social networking sites. We really do appreciate it. Follow us on Instagram throughout the day for the little daily sneak peeks. And if you've got a vehicle for sale or you're interested in one of ours once it becomes available, of course, we list them on there. So reach out in the inbox, including your phone number. Don't forget, please like, subscribe and share. And we'll see you all very, very soon in the next one.